combination of all those things that we've had going on for so long. It's really cool to see these guys get.
Yeah, it's awesome just to be at. This is my first H1Z1 event, and to just see everyone come out in full numbers. This is like nothing I've ever been to before. I mean, we have what 200 plus players here. It's absolutely insane to see it all. I mean, if you are walking around Atlanta right now,
they travel in a pack.
Yeah. Well, you cannot go into half of the restaurants without bumping into someone who's involved in H1Z1. We went to like 3 different restaurants last night trying to figure out where we wanted to eat, and we just saw everyone. We were all over the city. So if you are in Atlanta, be sure to come out to Dreamhack. But now we are going to see everyone falling on down into the map.
Spence Hills. I'm calling it. It's Spence Hills.
You know,
which means it's going to be, wait, maybe it's actually on the west side, and we're going to end up over here by Calsey and everybody in the southwest, but I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to hit one of these dead on, and it's going to be Spence Hills.
No, I think just like you've been consistently
wrong.
Calling it wrong. So it's going to be over to the west. Keep your eyes for that first ring. We're going to see that in just a couple of minutes, but now we're going to see right out of the gates, Carta letting loose some shots.
Yeah, a ton of players here, actually. A lot of guys choosing to land in this particular area of the safe zone.
This is the filthiest spread we've seen so far. I think we're going to see blood real quick here.
Zeb going down real quick to computer legs, getting taken out there with the shotgun. And we now have Vago here, and he is pushing down the street, and he's actually in the same area as Carta, and there's another player that he's heading towards, I believe, that also landed.
Yeah, this is just kind of a cluster right now. Everyone is somewhat close to each other. As you can see right now, we're back on with Carta and still very close to another player here. We might see another fight come out this early and hearing shots getting fired.
Yep, CBK Flame kind of running around. We got Neostorm as well down at the west end near the fire station, looting up the grocery store there. So we still got 3 players here in what I like to refer to as Sesame Street.
There's another one who's going to fall down right now. Yeah, they're all neighbors in Sesame Street right now. You can see them moving around in slow circles right now, getting all of the loot from those buildings, but expect them to pop out right now. We already have 3 down. Stormin going to take down MMX. We talked about Stormin being a big player to watch here and already starting to slay out of the gates.
Yeah, absolutely. Stormin stepping up, taking out another fellow EU player in MMX there, taking him down, and we are on board with Stormin here now, who actually has just the AR. Really doesn't need any more than that. His AR is one of the filthiest ones you will find in this game.
Yeah, not a bad gun to be starting out with here for Stormin at all. I mean, you talk about it playing into his play style. Pretty good rig.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely much more the AR than wanting to take the shotgun. He's somebody that you're not going to see too often take those close-range engagements. He likes that short mid-range where you can kind of get somebody to think that they should go for their shotgun, and then he'll outplay them with the AR.
Yeah, and then when they're thinking, he finds a way to get that 2-tap in. Now it's going to be Smokies from Vitality letting out some shots, just letting Aqua know that his presence is there, and that's going to be enough to force Aqua to retreat away from that fight. Doesn't want it yet. Going to be moving now. We are still with him. It looks like he hasn't found a pair of shoes yet, but he does have that backpack.
He just wants to feel one with Mother Earth here.
Yeah, sometimes you got to feel the pavement on your toes, man. Allows you to go real fast. Thump jumping inside of that police car.
Yeah, Thump going to make his way across, and he's a player that we've talked about who's a very aggressive player typically.
We got to watch him a little bit in that last game, too, that ultimately didn't get to play out, but man, you know how he's going to want to play, and now we're going to jump right in. Some long-range shots, and you can hear with how fast he's tapping, he is actually trying to get those hits in. He wasn't trying to feel out lead or anything like that, but ultimately not able to sink anything into Brother.
Yeah, definitely. So Linden also, though, going from Thump to Linden, basically consider it somewhat of the same play style there. Both of these guys are guys that typically they want to win, and the only way they like to win is by killing everybody on the map.
And you can see that from Linden already. I mean, that was not a fight that he needed to take, but he really making his presence known.
Why not? I mean, it's there.
You know what? You only get to go to Dreamhack so often.
Yeah.
It's a long time until we head over to Sweden.
It's a good way to get the camera on you, too.
That is for sure, you know. That's a big deal.
Mig here hanging out, just playing the shotgun inside the door. Looked like he was shredding an item, so he might be trying to get his craftables all taken care of. A lot of these guys will run around and not, until they're forced to scrap something, they'll just run and loot until everything's full and it says you can't pick up anymore. Then they'll find a spot and start breaking down helmets, breaking down military backpacks, which we really haven't touched on. So for new viewers, you'll see these guys wearing every now and then, you'll see armor types on them. And one of them is something that they can actually craft out of items within the world. So you're going to find tan militaries and break them down, and it's going to give you some fabrics, and then you can rip apart helmets to get armor scraps and then a duct tape, and you basically just kind of patch yourself together there, and ta-da, you got some armor, and that's always worth having. And they'll carry around a bunch of craftables so that they can make new ones as they lose them. So they'll store everything in their bag and just carry multiple armors.
Yeah, just trying to be efficient with that bag space and with that weight. But one of the other things I want to point out, Supersonic, I think you may have actually been right about that first ring.
Oh my! Did I miss it? Did I not see the first?
I think it popped up for a second there on the map.
Winner.
We will see in just a second though. But first, we want to be taking a look at Swaggerly TV as he sees Crumb. Will he be able to hit him?
I don't expect Crumb to take this fight. There's
not.
no need to be in a fight at 57. I don't expect Crumb and his play style to take it at all. And I did catch Spence Hills all the way down into Veshing's Peak in the south. So we're going to see some players probably go for that off-map tactic again down on the south side. We're going to see Astral Zachary with a long ways to go. 50 Shades, Anonymous, Razar, Jerk. All these guys have a long way to go. I expect most of them, due to the number of players on the map, to have vehicles from those areas, and they should be able to make it into the safe zone.
I'm going to give it to you, though. It's a little bit more south than you initially called, but
it's in there.
It's in there for sure. So that's the first accurate prediction for the ring so far today. Points to you, and now that is going to be collapsing very soon. We're going to start to see this gas, and now we're looking at Impact's Shell Shock. We've seen a little bit out of him in practice matches and such today.
I'm thinking either the Patriotic Jeep or the Patriotic Helmet is the skins of the day. They seem to be the most popular.
Yeah, we've seen that Patriotic Jeep quite a bit, not gonna lie. Now taking a look at Cloak OG running through right now.
Not to be
What's he
confused
headed
with
for?
their Cloak.
Yeah, what is Cloak headed for right now? I think he kind of just wants to get to the ring.
Yeah, he's just trying to get to the safe zone. He's kind of checking, seeing who's up ahead. A lot of these guys will use binoculars just to kind of check trees based upon render distance. So it zooms in, and you can sometimes see a little bit farther and have somebody render in, and then you know you want to veer right or veer left and work your way around them, or decide to take that fight.
Yeah, players, of course, rendering in at 500. This car is going to render in at 15.
Yeah.
As you can see, we got a little bit of a clump of players forming as we jump on board with Thanks for Dying.
And shots ring out into Foxy. Goes down to Obey Kevy. Again, Obey Kevy and the Obey squad. A lot of those guys are the ones that played at Fight for the Crown and took down that most recent tournament. And now we see Cutie Venom go down to a shotgun, and Linden stepping up like I was talking about, playing fairly aggressive and trying to get some shots into Hansen.
Yeah, trying to get those shots in indeed, but not much going to come of it yet. But the pressure is going to be unrelenting. Going to stick to his man, but Hansen going to be able to get away in his vehicle.
Yeah, and helmet off for Thump. Thump going to the shotgun, trying to find Soul C, plays his way out of it and gets the final head tap onto Soul C. Thump making a play from behind and staying in this match.
Yeah, beautiful play from Thump. Going to be able to get back into his vehicle and start to get the healing going here.
Yeah, and what you see he's done here is actually move to the back seat of the car. So if somebody heard that fight and didn't directly see him and they roll up, they're going to see the car. They're not going to see him necessarily. While he's healing in the back seat, he can fire out of the back seat, unlike the passenger. So he puts himself in a covered position inside of a vehicle where he can heal, and if he needs to, he can easily swap seats immediately into seat 1 and drive away.
Yeah, very good positioning by him.
Yeah.
Now looking at Thump.
Yeah, just doing the wobble walk as he loots there, making sure that he's always moving, even while looting, to make sure that he can't get easily two-tapped.
And now he's going to get back into that car, and he's going to hop into that driver's seat, move away just a little bit, maybe getting a little spooked by something, but once the double jack, he picked up all the goodies that he can, and now we're going to hear those shots ringing out there from Bull as he has made contact with Careful.
Yeah, Careful getting opened up on by Bull from a long range here, and he's just trying to keep him from getting into that car, and we're immediately going to hop over, and it looks like there's a fight between Hootie and Simplicity. Simplicity going to run back into the trees. Hootie takes the top. I expect these players to definitely disengage from each other. Neither one of them really has an ideal angle on the other.
Bull was still hanging out after that fight. It looked like both of the players somewhat pulled back, not trading blows anymore, but ultimately Bull going to pull up the mountain inside of his Jeep as we jump back on with Impact Shellshock still moving around in that police car.
Yeah, Shellshock's still just kind of driving around, trying to find himself a good spot to hang out at. And we've got Gabe Isman over here on the hill to the side. We might see some shots come out of Gabe to scare him off. Shell might have actually seen the top of his head there and decided to completely change course. He's going to head the other direction.
Not necessarily the point of the game where you want to be taking the fights like that.
Interesting spot to be sitting.
Yeah, you're kind of just hanging out in the open.
But this is one of those. So this is one of those things I was talking about before, where it's kind of a roadblock, and there's a lot of things that you can hide your vehicle in. And now you can completely hide your vehicle and hide yourself in these, and you have a ton of line of sight due to the game's third-person nature, where you can see over the tops of things. So you have a ton of visual space, which is really important.
Is hopping up on top of that crate though ever a little bit too dangerous?
You'll see players do it and then just immediately drop off. They'll hop up real quick and try and get those first shots, and if they land the first shot or two and they know they're ahead, they'll stand there for a second and challenge. But again, challenging, just like any shooter, typically is putting yourself at risk to do that, so they don't want to do it very long. Maybe 3 or 4 shots and done bad.
Oh, beautiful shots coming out here. Ultimately, Jerk Chicken going to be able to hold on to that helmet, getting a few shots into Geets. It looks like 1, maybe even 2. Geets going to try to heal himself up here. Still does have the Jeep and was behind that rock cover. Now moving along with that gas ring. Got to move quick, too.
Yeah, he needs to get the bleed off, and it looks like there is possibly the dribble. He may not have actually ended the bleed.
Ooh, Drazzle, yeah.
Drazzle's going to go down here to the gas.
No way,
it is going to kill him. Carta lands that kill onto Drazzle, and Drazzle's going to go down in 54th place here in Game 1.
Impact Carta now on top of that ATV, gunning through this forest right now, trying to avoid the trees, doing it pretty well for the most part. And it looks like he sees Drazzle, probably going to try to loot that here, starting to pre-med a little bit.
Yeah, Carta here is going to heal up in the gas for a second. He'll be out of there. He'll be fine. Smokey's trying to land some long-range shots onto Razar. Doesn't find it.
Yeah, it does not find any connection there. Now back on with Jerk Chicken. We just saw Jerk Chicken win a fight pretty efficiently.
Yeah, Jerk goes ahead and makes it out of the gas, and he's going to take this ridge line. And we are actually on board with him now. A couple players around the area. I don't think there's any immediate threat to him right now. Everybody's about 200 meters or more out, which means you really don't want to take that engagement. It's just wasting ammo once you get past that 200 mark.
Talk to me about Jerk Chicken a little bit and exactly who this player has been in the scene so far.
I mean, he's been a powerhouse, again, aggressive player that throws up high kill games. One of the better ARs, and we see a hipfire battle with ARs here between Computer Legs and Shellshock. Shellshock able to win that one, doesn't take too much damage, but does lose his 2-hit. But Jerk is another guy. I mean, all those guys on the Echo Fox squad had to put up high kill games and submit them and earn their way in. So all of them are legends within the community.
Just an org of slayers.
It's
kind of what it turns into.
It's kind of, yeah, it's just an org of just people that are just insane slayers. Their gun skill is just on point. Their bullet drop knowledge of just actual feel of the game is so good that they'll nail helmets first shot at 150, 200 meters sometimes, and it's insane to watch.
Speaking of 150, 200 meters, we're going to have an engagement at exactly that range. Aqua inside of that police car. Crumb connecting pretty well, but it's going to sink the shots into the police car, maybe 1 or 2, but not hitting Aqua at all. It's going to allow Aqua to move around freely and separate himself from that fight. Definitely a bad fight from him, as he was the one who was collapsing on that space initially.
Yeah, Teek's here along the edge of the gas is going to have to bail out here and get moving. And we are back on board with Anonymous and Zach, and it looks like Anonymous might have been trying to take the fight to Zach, but
not a bad
Zach
position
want
to do so. Yeah, Zach definitely doesn't want it at this point, but it looks like Anonymous definitely does. Sticking behind this ridge for as long as possible. He's starting to get collapsed in on, though.
Yeah, as long as he knows that nobody else is on the other side within range to shoot him, there's no reason to leave that spot. Those ridge lines actually work really, really well. There's a couple spots on the map where they're gapped out maybe 50 meters between, and you get some higher and shorter ones, and you get to see some really cool fights when people make use of those, or if you get a final safe zone on them.
Now hearing the shots ring out as we jump on. Oh, wow, just gets cleaned up by Hootie. Simplicity going to fall down.
Yeah, Hootie comes out hearing that fight and comes out and makes an easy 2-tap onto Simplicity, and Simplicity gets dropped.
Yeah, and as you can see, that was a pinch. Tuliman going to fall down probably from the initial fight.
Yeah, Thule going to go down to the helmet tap of Kevy from Obey, and he gets eliminated there in 51st place.
And that is going to bring us down to our top 50, first 10 kills in the bank here.
Yep.
Vago going to use his smoke there defensively as we see another player retreat into the building, and now we are on board with Vago, and as you can see, pretty safe here, going to move back behind this rock, just kind of continue retreating back further and further away from every player.
Yep. Back on board with Zach, who's still hanging out, playing these campers. I've seen people like Lenara, who we talked about during Group A. I've seen Lenara on little camps like this make use of them for 20 minutes in a game and work them really well. So the right player in the right spot can sit here and not necessarily use it to camp so much as just being able to use it to take fights on all sides of them, because there's enough cover to kind of cover your back and bounce in and out.
And you can see that footwork coming in that camp right now, weaving in between all of the cover, and like you said, can really take a fight from any side.
Yep, we have Crumb here again with a good positioning, has his car in a little ditch. There's a little ridge to the left and the right of it. Vehicle's not really at risk unless somebody comes from directly where he's looking at right now. And he's just looking around, watching the lay of the land to figure out where all these guys are, to figure out his next rotation.
Yeah, and as you hear those sirens, wow, that was a beautiful smoke that was thrown out here. That could give the opportunity to move up a little bit safely, and that's exactly what Impact Carta is going to do. Getting aggressive here, only 70 meters away from his opponent. We're going to jump on, though, into the Jeep with Calsey.
Yeah, Calsey just kind of doing the drive around also, but he's kind of stuck out in the open. A lot of these spots up the hills, these trees, as you can see, there's players there already. He's not going to have a lot of spot. Impact Triv is going to land a kill onto Calsey with 1L. And Triv.
Popular handle.
Yeah, popular handle there. And he's going to get an easy kill there, or easy for him anyways. Cleans it up.
Mobs now onto that ATV, moving away from Brother 2G. We've seen Mobs quite a bit throughout this game, too. Jerk Chicken, though, has been one of the players that we've stuck with the most, and we can see Jerk Chicken right now in a great position inside of his police car, probably knowing the positioning of Bulls. Geets, though, does fall down to Nightwalker.
With an assist from Jerk Chicken. Yeah. So Jerk must have been in a fight at some point recently. And Kyrie gonna hop in the open out from that car to take the fight to Zach. Immediately gets back in the Jeep when he realizes it's not the right fight to take, and he is going to get out of there.
As you can see, it is going to get much tighter here, and in that safe zone right there, we're going to need to fit almost 50 players inside of it.
Yeah, these safe zones really aren't built for those numbers. I know we keep going back to this, but once you actually get everybody inside the circle, it becomes very crowded very quickly.
Yeah,
and we've got Triv coming out of the gas up there by Symphony and Teaksy. Might end up seeing a fight up there.
And as you can see, a lot of the people starting to filter into that safe zone from the same areas. We may see some fights go down before they even get inside of it.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll catch that. A lot of players, the other thing to do is to get just inside the safe zone when you know that the gas is about to release and sit on it. And what you do is you basically shoot at people, make them have to take a wide angle around, and force them to be stuck in the gas at the disadvantage. So we haven't been on board with players that are doing that, but I guarantee you that there's definitely some players today that have been making use of that. And
we may see it here too with the movement as they start to get into that safe zone right now. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that strategy that Supersonic just mentioned. But now we're going to jump back on board with Linden FPS from TK. He is inside of one of the most popular skins of the entire weekend.
Yep. And Echo Fox Mini going to land himself a kill there on Devago, so Mini still in the game. I expect to see him make it. I'd expect to see him make that top 20 on this list.
And we were talking about it too. Mini was that one player. He was initially in Group A, gets rotated over to Group B, just with how things ended up panning out. So he moves into Group B of pool play. Okay, we're going to start to see some shots ring out here. But the whole thing was Mini just made an already stacked group that much scarier.
Yeah, absolutely. I doubt anybody that was in the group that was like, oh, yay, I'm super excited that Mini's here.
Yay.
None of his competitors were cheering to have Mini in their group.
Hey, you never know. Sometimes you want to be able to take out the best. Not a bad feeling to have. Mini definitely being one of the guys who can achieve that title.
You got to be somebody that can take him out, though.
And we are going to start seeing people fall left and right. And there we go. That's going to be a frag one onto Fury. And keep in mind that these players know that there are 40 players waiting for them in the grand final. They are just 2 games away from getting that standing as the 20 best. 46 players remaining, and now it's down to 45. Jerk Chicken gonna take down Neostorm as we jump on with Bull. Getting aggressive here into the Jeep, gonna pop out, put some shots into Rogue Thump. Connecting onto the vehicle, not getting too much, maybe one shot into Thump. Thump going to retreat. That is a bad fight for him, but Rogue Stormin going to stay aggressive, get a kill onto 50 Shades. That's going to be another kill for Stormin onto the board. We talked about him being a Slayer, and he is starting to put that to the test.
And Bull chases it down in a super aggressive manner and ends up taking out Thump there in 43rd.
Man, Thump was looking really good, and he gets cut down early.
Bull playing really aggressive. Could have gone really bad for him. We'll see how that continues to play out if he stays that aggressive. Again, I've said that I'm not a huge fan of that type of play. It's definitely flashy, and if you pull it off, it looks great for the end of the game, but it's hard to maintain that type of momentum through the entire match.
Yeah, sometimes it's not worth playing for the highlight reel, right? You want to make sure you're going for that placement as consistently as possible.
Get top
Play the
10,
percentages right. Yeah, you know, you want to take the good fun gunfights. You don't want to just take gunfights. Do agree with you there, but we are seeing some of these aggressive players definitely excelling. And as we jump into a fight right here, we're going to see Zach easily retreat into this building.
Yep, Zach going to back out there. So one of the kills earlier that we saw Jerk take out, I think it was Jerk took out Neostorm. So those guys definitely know each other. Neostorm being over from Twin Galaxies and working with Echo Fox and doing some of that stuff there. So
yeah,
a little brotherly love there, but Jerk the pro definitely taking down Neo.
All of that brotherly love is right out the door when you sit down here at Dreamhack and you're competing for $250,000 of prize money. And every decision here in these last seconds is going to be moving towards that. We're going to see Hootie pick up a kill here.
Hootie keeping him, actually fighting him in the gas, but it looks like Hootie was closer to the actual safe side, so he was playing that role that we were talking about. And now you see him do the double gas. So the cool thing with the double smoke nade is the person doesn't know which one you're going to come through. So you can do this sometimes just to kind of mess with people's heads a little bit. You throw down a wide one, and now they have to figure out where you're coming from.
Look at how much damage that gas was already doing, and as we can see right now, we do have our air supply coming down, and quite a few players around it. That is going to be a highly contested chest.
There is a fleet of vehicles coming in from this side of the safe zone, just blasting into the safe zone here. Cop cars everywhere. And we have a little bit of a destruction derby going on here between Mini and Razar.
We are sitting on top of a powder keg right now. One person is going to spark it, and bodies are going to start to fall. Everyone is very close on this map. It is a cluster, and as you can see, it is lighting up right now. Cloak going to fall down, and then we're going to see Mig fall down as well. It's going to start getting bloody. Yeah,
Mundolino getting dropped there as well. Careful, going to go down to Stormin. Stormin still landing kills. Gates Reptar opening up, getting another kill onto Thanks for dying. And Bull is going to open up, try and get a fight onto Stormin, and lands the last 2 shots to get a 2-tap onto Stormin.
Bull is cutting down all of the big names here, making a name for himself. Now we're going to jump on with Mini. That's another one of the big names that we were talking about coming into this tournament, and he already has 2 shots sunk into him. Going to move back, going to use his police car as cover and back that right up into this gas here. But as you can see, Reigns still does have eyes on him. Right now, Nightwalker going to be able to pick up another kill and jumping on with Bull. This has been the Kingslayer. He's trying to get some slots into Aqua as he hides behind that rock. And while we're watching this fight, Mobs is going to go down and Cranium, and then Bull is going to get cut down.
And Aqua comes in with Bull's tactic, eliminates him with the hop out on the Cod Rush, and then goes down to, I didn't catch the name, but another player picks up Aqua right afterwards, and Aqua and Bull both going to get eliminated.
Yeah, and man, you hate to see that happen. Bull kind of being the MVP here, getting a lot of the big names out, and then gets a little bit aggressive, feeling himself a little bit too much. Aqua takes him down and trades out.
Yeah, Aqua comes in and basically says, you want to play aggressive, we'll play aggressive. But as we talked about, there's consequences to those styles of play, and Aqua pays the price for getting that aggressive with Bull.
And that price is going to be a pretty tough placement here. I mean, we're only in the top 30 right now, and the fights are still breaking out. As you can see, there is a bunch of smoke down, but Shell Shock is up in this fight. He wants to keep going here, just needs to sink one more shot, going to be able to bring down, and there we go. Lindsey Bunny going to fall down to impact Shell Shock.
Yeah, Lindsey in a tough pinch there between Noble Fury and Shell Shock. Really rough spot to play back from, and we've got shots ringing out right now from Reptar onto another player, and Hansen lands himself a kill onto Hootie.
Now, to be honest, too, we're starting to see a lot of the players that have been playing more passively throughout this game start to get the kills, and that's going to be 3 kills inside that kill feed, and look at just how tiny this safe zone is going to become.
Yeah, I didn't catch who those last 2 were in that 3-man kill, but 2 of them ended up trading out as Spirits takes down Linden FPS, and down goes Razar as well to Reptar. Reptar probably the most kills in this game right now, just racking up kills at the moment.
Reptar has steadily been amassing those kills. Expect to see a lot of points in Reptar's favor. And on top of that, looking for a pretty good placement right now, gunning for that top 20. That's where the really big points are going to be. Only 2 players stand between Reptar and that. And we're also jumping on with Shock, but Blood Inferno going to be brought down by Spirits. Now, Blood Inferno, this is a much better placement, and this is exactly what we expect from Blood Inferno.
Yeah, I mean, definitely cool to see him come back in, especially after being on 26 and being on the bubble and then that game ruining it for him. And he's going to be in 21st, which sets him up to basically kind of play out that second game and get a repeat from the issues in Group A. Reptar lands himself another kill, though, there with the shotgun. Hansen getting a player really low, but backing out of it as Zachary goes ahead and smoke nades himself off. Now, Hansen's in a tough spot here. He knows there's somebody at both sides. There's 2 people smoking themselves off at the moment, and we know that he's in a pinch situation. Now, he needs to try to not give away his position, though. He needs to just try and get out of there.
If he gives away his position there, that's when that pinch is going to come in, and we are going to see the player from Astral be able to bring down Impact. Carta nice and clean there.
Yeah, Carter going to go down, gets a couple shots into him, and then jumps around the corner, pops him with the shotgun to finish it off, and gets a clean kill. Zach just watching right now. I think he's waiting to see if Kyreg is willing to 100% stop moving. If Kyreg stops to take shots, I expect Zach to shoot, but there's players rolling up onto Zach. We are gonna see the hop come out. The car's almost gonna run Reptar over, and Reptar gonna go down in 14th as Shell Shock lands himself a kill. I believe it was on a Noble Fury as well.
Reptar gonna find it. Really, the position Reptar was in, coming in 14th there, did get so many kills that may be able to jump up to like 11th place, maybe even a little bit higher, but that was a very aggressive play from Reptar. Ultimately going to get punished out of that hop. Now looking at Hansen, trying to put some shots into the smoke, connecting onto Crumb. He is so close to finishing out this kill. Looking to get it right now. Going to go ahead and throw out a throwable, but Crumb is going to be moving still. Really smart, though, using the gas there, but ultimately Crumb clutches up, able to get out.
Great play by Crumb to recognize that he wasn't going to be able to stay there with that many players around, and decides to take the car to see if he can drive away. He has a little bit of health to make it, and CBK Flame going to go down to a shotgun from Big K and an assist from Zach, and shots are still ringing out here. Crumb does get away, gets down to about 1 or 2% health, and gets his heal off. So Crumb narrowly escaping death and clutches it into the top 10. 9th place gonna go, or 10th place gonna go to Swagger Lee as he drops down to Zach.
Yeah, you said it, Supersonic. We do have our top 10 and expect it to get very aggressive right now. They are all grouped up. You hear the sirens. These smokes are going to be fading in just a second here, and Anonymous going to be the next one to fall to Kyreg, and it looks like Zach is still very low. Kyreg, though, has his sights onto another player. Hansen, though, going to be able to take down Nightwalker. These smokes are all going to fade. It's going to be just a couple seconds here, Supersonic, until we really see the shots. And oh, wow, beautiful play from Jerk Chicken. Been on fire throughout the entirety of the game, able to pull off that body armor and then clean up house.
And Kyreg now in a fight with Zach, and he is actually going to go down to the AR. He loses the shotgun versus AR battle, and then he turns and absolutely deletes Crumb from the match with a 2-tap. Crumb definitely happy, though, with 5th place. Jerk going to go down here to Gabe Isman, and we are down to 3.
Thought Jerk was going to fall down a little bit easier there, but definitely puts up a fight against Gabe Isman. Gabe Isman going to have to heal up right now in the top 3, but he is looking relatively weak. Zach, though, on absolute fire, and now it's down to 2. Hansen is choked on the gas. Will Zach be able to close this one out here? He is slayed the entirety of this game. He's going to put in the shots. That is your number 1 place, going to Zach. And with all of that slaying ability that he has had, expect him to be very high in points coming out of this first game of Group B.
Yeah, Zach taking down game 1. Love to see it. Just recently found this player, so he's a newer player to me from casting the CAs. I was talking to you about a guy that came out mid-game, R380 kill. Tapped a guy in the middle